I'm sure that if you are familiar with list view and recycler view a little bit, you have heard these words that recycler view recycles the view and hence it is very useful in compared to list view. What does it means? How does it work? So in recycler view, there can be multiple items. As we can see in the right side, there are multiple items, but only these 6 items are shown at a time. And when we scroll it up, some items are moved out of the screen on the top. Those items are called scrapped view, which once was showing in the screen, but later on when user scrolled it up, all those views are not visible now. Those views are called scrapped view. Okay, and the views which are visible right now are called visible view. So right now these views are visible which are right now on the screen, and the first view, if I scroll it up, it is going out of the screen, so that view is now called the scrapped view. And the more we scroll up, the more view goes up, the more views are added in the collection of scrapped view. Okay, like if I scroll it up again, so there are 2 views out of screen now. Those 2 views which are now out of the screens are added inside this collection of scrapped views. Okay, so there are some other views also which are below the screen, and those are called waiting view. And when we will scroll it up, those waiting view will come inside this area where those view will be visible. So instead of creating new views, what recycler view does is it will just take a view from the scrapped view collection, and that view will be called dirty view, which is right now in the scraped collection. So recycler view will take one view from this scrapped view collection and it will recycle this view and will assign to this new view which is coming up inside the visible area. Okay, so if we consider our recycler view, right now these items are visible at the first stage. Okay, if we are going to scroll it up, this new view is going to come up. So let's consider this view, no country for old man. If we go down, this is the initial stage, and this no country view, this is going to be our baiting view in the first stage. Okay, the moment we scroll it up, this cotton club will go out of the screen and will be considered as a scrapped view. Okay, and then our waiting view will reuse this scrapped view, our waiting view, which is this no country for old man. Okay, when we are going to scroll it up, recycler view will take this scrapped view and assign to this new view which is going to come inside the visible area. Okay, so the process is really simple. The first view, whenever it's going out of the screen, is going to be added inside this scrapped view pool. The moment any new view comes up in the visible area, recycler view will check if there is any scrapped view. Okay, it's there. Then it will just take a view from the scrapped collection and will assign to the new view which is going to be the visible view now. Like this, recycler view works, and this is very efficient because if you have multiple items inside your dataset, it is not going to create a reference for all of those views. It will just create the minimum number of views required because there are only few items visible at a time on the screen. It will just create view holder references for those views. Then it will just take the views from the scrapped view if there is any, and then it will be keep on recycling those views and we will be assigning to the new variables which are going to come up in the visible area. Okay, that's why recycler view is way efficient than list view, and this is very important. So let me show you how we can implement a recycler view using Kotlin inside our project. In this video we are going to learn about recycler view, and recycler view is very helpful when we want to show a list of item inside our screen. Okay, so recycler view is made of 3 important things. Like in recycler view we have these 3 important building blocks. One is adapter, and this adapter will be responsible to show the data set, like whatever the data we want to show. Maybe it can be a list, array list, or array, a collection of data which we want to show and inflate inside our screen, that will be used inside adapter, and most of the things will be done inside adapter itself. Then whatever the row or whatever the layout we need to show inside one item of recycler view, that will be inside view holder. And then layout manager is very important, and this is the best thing over list view or grid view in recycler view. So if we talk about list view, we could only show one orientation. Then if we talk about grid view, we could only show a grid of items. But if we talk about recycler view, we have all the things available. In recycler view, we can show items either in vertical orientation or in horizontal orientation or maybe we can use in a grid manner or staggered grid manner with the help of layout manager. So these three are very important building blocks of RecyclerView, and I will show you how we need to implement every building block of RecyclerView. We will understand the working of RecyclerView as well in this video. So let's start, and we are going to start the same code base. So this is our login screen. Once we click on this login button, what we are going to do, we are going to show a list of movies inside a recycler view. So for that we are going to create one new empty activity. We are going to name this as movies activity, and we will click here on finish, and then our activity will be created. Once our activity is created, we will go to the layout. For now let's use linear layout. I will talk to you about constant layout in upcoming videos, and then going forward we will use constraint layout as well. So here first of all we need to use the recycler view. This is the view which we are going to use, and we can give width as match parent, and we can use height as wrap content. Okay, in the right side you can see there are a lot of items. As we already know that recycle view can have multiple childrens, so this is the representation in the layout. Then we can add one ID identifier for our recycle view. We can use initials RV movies. Okay, then maybe we can add a little bit padding here, 10 dp. Alright, now inside our movies activity we can just take reference for this recycler view, RV movies recycler view, and we can create one method init views. Inside this we can just take reference with the help of find view by id, r dot id dot RV movies. Okay, now we need to have some data, right? For now we have this static JSON. We will use this to fill up our recycler view, and this will act as a data set. In the future videos I will explain you how we can make API call as well, but for now let's use this. So we'll just take this data, and this JSON will store inside our project in assets folder. We can go inside this project window and we can select this project structure. Now inside our main folder itself we need to create one directory called assets. Okay, and inside this assets folder we are going to create one file. We can just use this, and we can write response.json. okay, this one JSON file we have created, and inside this JSON file we can just copy this. So as of now this website is very helpful to see the JSON, online JSON viewer. We can check these are items inside movies. So each item has one ID, one title, one year of the release, and then director, actor, and so on. Okay, so we are going to take this entire JSON and we are going to paste inside this response.json. Okay, this has a array of movies. Alright, now we need to read this JSON file, so we can create one utility method. This is basically one normal method, so we can create one class, one Kotlin class utility. Okay, and then maybe we can just make this as singleton. Now inside this utility class we can add this method load JSON from asset. So it is just taking the path for this asset dot open response.json which we have added here, this one, and then it will just check if this is node null and everything is fine. Then it will return us one proper string. Okay, it will just return us that JSON as a proper string. For now let's just test if we are getting that JSON properly. So we can just add one method setup movies layout. Okay, inside this let's take this below init view. Inside this method, first of all for now let's add one log, and for that we need one tag. So we can just add one companion object. We can just add one variable tag, and we can take this movies activity dot simple name, and then we can use this tag inside our log, and we can just write one statement coming inside setup movies layout, and then we can add one data response Before that, we need to just check if we are really getting the response. So we can use that utility method, load JSON from asset, and we can just pass the activity reference this. Now let's see, are we getting this response dot to string? Okay, let's run our program, but for that we need to come to this activity, right? So inside our login screen, or let's say we make this activity itself as launcher for now. Okay, and let's make this as exported true, and now let's run our program. Okay, so we are getting the data here, it's getting printed, all the JSON we are getting. So now we have the data set. Okay, it's coming here inside response, so we have the data set. Now let's get back to our movies activity. Let's close all those things. Now as we learned, we need to have one adapter, one view folder, and one layout manager. Okay, so let's start with creating this adapter. So here we can create one class. Oh, let's refactor this little bit. Let's create one folder UI. Let's create one folder utilities and move this utility class inside this package. And let's take these activity inside our UI folder. We can create one another package inside adapter, and inside this let's create one class and let's name it as movies adapter. Okay, so inside this class we need to extend RecyclerView dot adapter, and this will take one view holder. Okay, so for now we can add RecyclerView dot view holder. This is by default and then default constructor. Now if we come here, it will tell that you need to implement few members. So if we try to implement this, all three members are necessary. We can implement these things. So now we have three methods. Okay, these three methods are everything in case of RecyclerView. In own create view holder, one row item will be created which will be shown as a item. Okay, inside our layout we have these multiple items, right? So each item will be having one independent row. So that row itself will be created inside this own create view holder. Then suppose we have 10 items inside our data set. So we will tell our recycler view that item count is 10. That we will implement inside this method. We have created one row here. Now we need to fill up this row with some data. So that we will do inside this own bind view holder. Okay. Now we need one row. First of all, we need one item to show in the layout, right? So we can create one row layout here inside. Well, let me just select Android for simplicity. Inside our resource, inside our layout, we need to create one row item, and we can name it as item movie row layout. Okay, and we are going to use relative layout for now as the parent, and we will select OK. Alright, let's minimize this. So we have one row. Now we need to show some data, right? So for that, let's see what data actually we have inside our response. So we have an ID, title, year, and then director, actor, plot, and poster URL. We have an image as well. So now let's start designing our layout. So first of all, we will take one image view. Okay, we will take one image view. We can just take maybe 100 dp. We will modify it as we go forward, and then for height also we are going to take 100 dp. Okay, and this let's make it as wrap content, so we don't take the entire screen. This is a very popular mistake which beginners does. Like if you are having recycler view as match parent, so you will see only one item is coming, but your data which you are passing, that is maybe having more element, and you will be confused. That's because you are having the entire screen height as your one children height. That's why. So for that we need to use wrap content. So only this much space one row will take, and then we can increase or decrease this based on our need. So inside our image view, we are going to add one ID. We can say movie logo. Okay, and that's it. We can add one text view. So inside our values, we can create one values styles.xml. So our styles file is created, and inside this we can add one style. We don't have any primary style as well, so let's say we have one normal text style where text size is something 18 sp. We can take text color is black, text style is normal, and everything is good. So we can just take this, we can add here style, normal text style. We can just add some text for our reference. For now we can just import this. Movie name is there, title. Okay, movie name. We can close this. We are going to define some height, wrap content, and width, wrap content. Okay, so movie name is coming, but this we need to define right to this. So we can just define end of IV movie logo. So this is our image, this is our movie name, and let's say we have one more text, and this we can use. Let's add one ID first, TV movie title. Then we have the director as well. So we can take director. Okay, so this we are going to define end of IV movie logo, and then layout below TV movie title. Okay, like this. We have one movie name, one director name. And for this director name, let's add some little bit different text size. So here we can have 16 sp. So we have added movie name, director name. That's it for now. And let's add some padding or some margin, maybe margin right, margin, and we can use 18 dp like this. Okay, that's fine. So we have one row itself, and let's create one holder, one our custom view holder. So we can just create movies view holder, and this is going to extend RecyclerView dot view holder. Now this view holder will have one item, like one item view. So we can just use this item view of view type, and then we can pass the same inside our holder. Now we have our own view holder, so we can just use movies adapter dot movies view holder like this, and then the same thing will be used inside all methods here as well, like this, and here as well. Okay, and we can remove this for now. And here we need to return one movies view holder object inside our own create view holder. So to inflate a layout, we need one layout inflator. So we can just create layout inflator equal to, and then we can use layout inflator dot from, and this will need a context. So we can take the context from this parent. Okay, now we need one view. So we are going to create this with the help of layout inflator dot inflate, and we need to pass the layout which we created. So that is, first of all we need to import this R, and then this is the layout, and we need to inflate this inside parent. So this means we are using layout inflator to inflate this layout inside the parent of the row, and we are going to pass false for attached to root. This is we are going to pass at false. Now we need to return one view holder object. So we are going to just return movies view holder, and inside this we need to just pass the view. Okay, inside our movies view holder, as we are getting this item view from here after inflating the layout, so we can get access to all of these view. So if we try to access this, we can do something like this. Well, with the help of this item view dot find view id, this is one image view, and we can take reference from this r.id.movie logo. Same way we can take reference to the text and other thing, movie title. We can take for this we need to define one text ID, so we can define director, and here we can just take TV director, we can use this. Okay, we have access to these view. Now what we need to do, we need to define one function, or we need to set up the data basically. So here with the help of this holder object, we can call the function, or we can set the data here. So we can define one function here to fill up one row. So we can just say set up row data. Okay, this is the function basically. We can call this function from this wind view holder. Okay, we can pass the data which we will get from the activity. So for now let's just go back to the activity. So we need to serialize or deserialize this data. For that we can use JSON dependency. So for that we are going to use this JSON, and we are going to just use the latest one. Is there any latest dependency? It's showing up 2.8.9. okay, we are going to use this. We are going to sync our project. Now this response has a lot of things, and we only need few things. We need one URL, we need director name, and we need title name for now. So we can create one data class. Okay, we can come back to our project structure. We can just create one more package maybe, and let's say entities for now, and inside this we are going to create one Kotlin data class movie. Okay, and let's make this as a data class. And if you don't know about data class, either you can go on my YouTube channel and you can find out in my shorts video how to create a data class, or you can also find this at my website how to create a data class. Okay, now inside our data class we need these things. First of all we need title, so we can just add val title of type string. Then the second thing we need this director, so we can use this director of type string, and then we need this poster URL. Okay, this is also of type string. Okay, now this is our one object, one data class movie. Now we need to create one final class, let's say movie list. Okay, and it is going to have a list of movies. This movie which we have created, right, it's going to have a list of movies like in our response. Okay, so let's take this name. Inside this we are going to create one variable. We are going to use that name movies, and here we are going to use that movie object which we have created, and then this will be a list of. Okay, now inside our movies activity we are going to create one final object of that movie list, and we are going to use this JSON. With the help of from JSON we need to pass this data here response, as this is the JSON we have, and then we need to use this movie list class dot java. Okay, this will give us a list of movies. Okay, if we try to print this, let's use this movie list dot movies dot size. Okay, if we try to use this, let's see what it is printing. So we have size of 16, we have 16 items. Okay, we have the data, so we can pass this here as the parameter, and we can create this as a parameter inside our adapter. We are going to pass this movie list. We need to define this as a variable, then we can get access here as well. Dot movies, if it's not null then size, else we are going to pass 0 as the size. We can make this as a private variable as well. Okay, now this is not going to be null, so we can remove this and this also. This is the size of items we are going to show inside our recycler view. Now inside our setup row data we can get the data with the help of this position. So we can just pass the data here with the help of this list dot movies, and then we can use this position, and we can add this as the parameter. So one final movie object for every row we will get inside this function, and here with the help of this reference we can set the text from the movie dot title. Then we can set the director name with the help of movie dot director. We need to set up the layout manager as well. So for layout manager we are going to use linear layout manager. We need to pass the context. We can pass multiple things. We can pass the different orientation and much more. I will show you those things as well, but for now we need to use this default layout manager. Let's run our application now. Okay, so our recycler view is getting filled up with the data which we passed, and it is showing up here. Now let's modify it little bit. We need to set the image as well. So for that we can use multiple libraries, but Glide and Picasso are very popular libraries. We are going to use Glide, and to use Glide we need to add the dependency. We can take this dependency from Glide GitHub. We can just go to this build.gradle for our application, and here we can add the Glide dependency. Okay, we can just sync the application. Now our application is going to use internet to load the images right from a URL. For that we need to add the permission inside our manifest file. We can just use this permission internet, and now our application will be able to use internet because of this permission. We can close all the tabs to the right, and then we can just use the Glide reference. We can pass item view here. Then we need to pass the URL inside this. So we can just take from our movie dot logo or poster URL as we have defined, and then we need to set inside our image view, so we can just pass the image. Okay, let's see how it is behaving right now. So this is the Glide reference. Then we are just passing this item view as a reference context, and then we are passing the URL, and then we are passing the image view where we need to set the image. Okay, now let's run our application and let's see how it is looking like. Okay, so the images are loading up, the text are also getting set up, but let's modify this layout little bit. Okay, so what we can do here is we can just give one minimum height basically, and let's say we set up this 124 dp. Okay, and in the design we can just see, okay, this is how it is going to look like. And then we can set up the gravity maybe to the center or center vertical, so it will come in the center. Okay, and then we are going to set up this text view, remove this from here, center in parent, and it will look like this. We can just remove this font family. We can just use serif normal one. Now let's run our application again. We have modified this little bit. Okay, so this is looking like this. And are we giving any padding or anything inside this style? Yes, we are giving this padding. Let's remove this and let's see how it is looking like. Maybe we can use some scale type, center crop, and let's run our application again. Okay, so our layout is looking like this. If we just increase it a little bit, so this is one row and our screen is looking like this. This is the screen, and this way we are using the recycler view. That's it for the today's video, guys. I hope I shared something valuable with you today. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe to my channel. I will see you in the next video. Thank you.